Sam was a tech genius, always fascinated by the internet's hidden depths. What started as a hobby of coding and gaming quickly turned into exploring the web's darker corners. He had heard whispers about the dark web, a shadowy part of the internet where anonymity ruled and secrets thrived. One night, while scrolling through online forums, Sam stumbled upon a thread titled, "The Secret Room, Only for the Brave." The thread had only a few cryptic comments. "I barely made it out alive. 15 minutes is all it takes to ruin you. Once you enter, it knows you're there." Sam's curiosity flared. He had seen plenty of myths about the dark web, but had never come across something that felt this personal. The thread ended with a strange link. No description, no warnings. His roommate, Mike, walked into the room just as Sam was hovering over the link. "Dude, what are you up to now?" Mike asked, half laughing. "Ever heard of the secret room?" Sam asked. Mike's face instantly grew serious. "Don't mess with that, man. I heard someone from campus went looking for it last year and just disappeared." Sam smirked. "Come on, Mike. It's probably just a prank or some creepy art project." "Sam, I'm serious. That stuff's bad news. Stay out of it." But Sam couldn't resist. Once Mike left, he locked the door, turned off the lights, and plugged in his headphones. The glow of the laptop was the only light in the room. He copied the link from the forum into his Tor browser and hit enter. The screen went black for a moment. Then a message appeared. "What do you seek?" Sam hesitated, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then with a grin, he typed, "The secret room." For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the screen flickered, and a new message appeared. "You may enter. You have 15 minutes, no more." A link appeared below the text. Sam clicked it, his heart pounding. The screen filled with static, and a live video feed began. The camera showed a small, dimly lit room. The walls were made of cracked concrete, and there was a single wooden chair in the center. The room was silent except for a faint buzzing noise. As Sam leaned closer to the screen, he noticed faint movement in the shadows. He adjusted his headphones. The buzzing noise grew louder, then morphed into whispers. He frowned. The whispers weren't in English or any language he recognized. They seemed to come from the room itself, filling his ears with an eerie, guttural sound. Suddenly, a figure stepped into the frame. It was a man, tall and thin, dressed in black. His face was hidden behind a pale mask that resembled a human skull. He stood motionless for several seconds, staring directly at the camera, as if he could see Sam on the other side. Sam's pulse quickened. The masked man slowly tilted his head, then pointed to the wooden chair. The camera panned, revealing that someone was now sitting there. It was a woman. Her wrists were bound to the chair, and her head hung low. Her hair was disheveled, and her breathing was ragged. "Help me," she whispered, lifting her head slightly. Her face was pale, her eyes sunken and filled with terror. Sam's stomach churned. Was this real? He tried to pause the video, but the controls wouldn't respond. The whispers grew louder, almost drowning out the woman's faint cries. The masked man moved closer to the woman. He placed a hand on her shoulder, and she began to sob uncontrollably. Then he turned back to the camera and pointed directly at Sam. "Leave now." A distorted voice growled through Sam's headphones. Sam yanked them off, but the voice didn't stop. It filled the room, vibrating through the walls. Panicked, Sam slammed his laptop shut. The room fell silent. He sat in the dark, his chest heaving. Then his phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. "You can't escape now. 15 minutes. Sam's hands trembled as he stared at the message. His laptop powered itself back on, the screen glowing brightly. The live video feed was still playing, but now the camera showed something different. It was his room. The camera angle was from above, like a security feed. Sam could see himself sitting at his desk, staring at the screen. He turned around, but his room was empty. The shadows in the corners seemed darker, though, almost alive. On the video feed, the masked man appeared in the corner of Sam's room. Sam's blood ran cold as he watched the figure slowly step closer to him on the screen. "Get out!" Sam screamed, throwing the laptop across the room. The screen cracked, but the video kept playing. The whispers grew deafening, turning into distorted screams. The lights in the room flickered violently, then went out. Sam grabbed his phone and bolted out the door, running into the hallway. But the hallway wasn't the same. The walls were cracked, the air thick with the stench of decay. The buzzing noise followed him, growing louder with every step. He ran, his footsteps echoing in the endless corridor. No matter how far he went, the hallway never ended. Doors lined the walls, but everyone he tried was locked. Finally, he stopped, gasping for breath. He turned around, and the masked man was there, standing just a few feet away. "You wanted to see?" the man said, his voice deep and distorted. "Now you belong." Sam screamed as the shadows engulfed him, pulling him into the void. The next day, Mike woke up to find Sam's bed empty. His laptop sat on the desk, its screen shattered. The only thing left was a single message glowing faintly on the cracked screen. 15 minutes is all it takes. Sam was never seen again, but late at night, Mike swore he could hear faint whispers coming from Sam's room. Noah was a college student, the kind of guy who blended into the background. He wasn't particularly popular, nor was he a loner. Most days he stuck to his routine, classes, part-time work, and gaming late into the night. But he had a secret obsession: technology. Noah spent hours browsing tech forums, learning how to tinker with software, and exploring the darkest corners of the internet. It wasn't just a hobby, it was an escape from his mundane life. The dark web fascinated him. He knew it was dangerous, filled with criminals and scams, but he couldn't resist the thrill of discovering the unknown. One night, while scrolling through an encrypted forum, Noah found a thread that piqued his interest. The title was simple: The Shadow Market. Enter if you dare. Curiosity took over. He clicked the thread. The first post described the shadow market as an exclusive section of the dark web, hidden even from seasoned hackers. It was said to offer things money couldn't buy: knowledge, power, and experiences that transcended reality. The replies were chilling. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Don't go there unless you're ready to pay the price. The market chooses you, not the other way around. Noah smirked. Probably just another hoax, he muttered. But as he scrolled further, he found a link buried in the comments. Unlike most dark websites, which required special keys or passwords, this link was open. He hesitated for a moment before clicking. The screen went black, then flickered to life with a single line of text: "Welcome to the shadow market. Are you prepared to trade?" Below the text were two buttons: yes and no. Noah's heart raced. He clicked yes. The screen flickered again and a list of items appeared. But these weren't ordinary products. The description sent chills down his spine. Erase your past, $10,000. Know your death date, $15,000. Exchange your lifespan for wealth. Price varies. Noah leaned back in his chair, uneasy. The site felt different from the others he'd visited. It wasn't just illegal, it felt alive. As he scrolled, A new section appeared at the bottom of the screen. Custom requests. His curiosity got the better of him. He clicked. A text box appeared with a single prompt. What do you desire most? Noah thought for a moment. His life was far from perfect. He wanted respect, recognition, and freedom from his mounting student debt. Tentatively, he typed, I want to be rich and successful. He hit enter. The screen went black again, and for a moment, he thought his computer had crashed. Then, a message appeared. Your request has been received. Prepare to pay. Noah frowned. Pay? With what? Before he could react, his laptop screen turned into a live feed. It showed his dorm room, exactly as it was now. The angle was from above, as if someone had installed a hidden camera. What the hell? He whispered, his voice trembling. The feed panned across the room, focusing on him. Then, the text returned. Payment is due. One soul. Noah's blood ran cold. He slammed his laptop shut and yanked the power cord, but the screen remained lit. The feed now showed his reflection in the laptop, his face pale and terrified. The whispers started then. Low and guttural, they filled the room. Noah spun around, searching for the source, but there was nothing there. The whispers grew louder, overlapping into a deafening roar. Then the lights went out. Noah grabbed his phone and turned on the flashlight, his hands shaking. Shadows danced on the walls, moving independently of the light. Who's there? He shouted, his voice cracking. The whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by a deep, raspy voice. You asked for success, it said. Are you ready to pay? Noah backed into the corner of his room, his flashlight trembling. This isn't real. It's a prank. It has to be. The voice laughed, a low, chilling sound that echoed in his ears. You invited us, Noah. The market doesn't forget. The shadows on the walls began to shift, forming shapes, faces with hollow eyes and twisted mouths. They stared at him, their expressions full of malice. Noah bolted for the door, but it wouldn't budge. He pounded on it, screaming for help, but the hallway outside was eerily silent. Leave me alone, he shouted, tears streaming down his face. The voice responded, calm and cold. The deal has already begun. There's no escape. The shadows lunged at him, wrapping around his body like tendrils. He felt a searing pain in his chest, as if his very essence was being ripped away. Darkness consumed him. Noah woke up in his dorm room the next morning, drenched in sweat. The sun was shining and everything looked normal. His laptop was closed on the desk, the power light off. He let out a shaky breath. Just a nightmare, he whispered, trying to convince himself. But as he reached for his phone, he noticed something strange. There was a new email in his inbox. The subject line read, Transaction complete. His hands trembled as he opened it. Congratulations, Noah. Your request has been fulfilled. Enjoy your success. He stared at the screen, his stomach churning. Then a knock came at the door. Noah opened it to find a stranger in a suit, holding a briefcase. Mr. Carter? The man asked. Noah nodded slowly. Your inheritance has come through. Your great-uncle passed away last week. You're now the sole heir to his fortune. The words barely registered. Noah hadn't even known he had a great-uncle. The man handed him the briefcase, which was filled with cash. Have a nice day, he said, walking away. Noah stood frozen in the doorway, his mind racing. The shadow market had delivered on its promise. But at what cost? That night, as he counted the money, the whispers returned. They would never leave him. Emma was a software engineer who prided herself on being able to navigate any corner of the internet. Her job involved troubleshooting complex systems, finding vulnerabilities, and writing clean code. But outside of work, Emma had a secret hobby: exploring the dark web. For her, it wasn't about buying drugs or stolen data. It was the mystery of it all, the thrill of stumbling upon hidden pages with cryptic messages or forgotten stories. She never delved too deep, always keeping a safe distance. That was until one fateful evening. It began like any other night. Emma was at her desk, sipping coffee, her cat curled up on the chair beside her. She logged into her VPN, opened her Tor browser, and began browsing forums. One thread caught her eye. "Have you found the forgotten room?" The post was vague, just a few lines of text. "It's not a website, it's a destination. Enter only if you have nowhere else to go. Once you're in, you're never truly out." A series of replies followed, most warning others to stay away. "Don't do it. People disappear after going there. I saw it once. I'll never sleep again." It's not just a page. It's alive. At the bottom was a link. It wasn't clickable, but Emma copied it into her browser. She hesitated for a moment, her finger hovering over the enter key. The words, "never truly out," echoed in her mind. Her curiosity won. The screen went black, and text appeared. "Welcome to the Forgotten Room. Are you ready to proceed?" Beneath the text was a single button labeled Enter. Emma clicked it. The screen flickered, and a live video feed appeared. It showed a hallway lined with doors. The walls were old, covered in peeling wallpaper. Dim, flickering lights illuminated the scene. There was no sound, only the faint hum of her laptop. A message appeared at the bottom of the screen. "Choose a door." Emma's pulse quickened. She clicked on the first door. The video feed shifted to a room. It was small, empty, except for a chair in the center. The camera panned slowly, revealing writing on the walls. The words were scribbled in black, overlapping and chaotic. "Help me. Don't trust them. It's too late." Suddenly the chair moved. Not much, just a slight scrape across the floor. Emma's heart jumped. The screen flickered, and the hallway returned. A new message appeared. "That wasn't your door. Try again." Emma hesitated but clicked the second door. This time the video showed a woman sitting on a bed. Her head was down, her hair covering her face. The room was dark, except for a single candle burning on the floor. "Hello?" Emma whispered, as if the woman could hear her. The woman's head snapped up, revealing hollow eyes and a twisted smile. She lunged at the camera, and Emma gasped, slamming her laptop shut. Her screen remained off, and for a moment, the room was silent. Then her phone buzzed. She picked it up with trembling hands. The message was from an unknown number. "You can't stop now. Finish what you started." Emma's laptop powered itself back on. The hallway reappeared, the cursor hovering over the third door. "No," she whispered, her voice shaky. "This isn't real." The screen flickered again, this time displaying her own living room, her coffee mug, her cat sleeping on the chair. It was all there. Her chest tightened. She turned her head slowly, looking at her real living room. Everything was the same. Then the camera on the screen panned to the hallway outside her apartment. A shadow moved past the door. Emma bolted to the door, peering through the peephole. The hallway was empty. When she returned to her desk, the screen displayed a new message. "The Forgotten Room is closer than you think." The video feed shifted again, this time showing her bedroom. Emma's stomach churned. She grabbed her phone, dialing her best friend, Sarah. Pick up," she muttered. The line connected, but all she heard was static. Then faintly, A voice came through. Emma. Her blood ran cold. The voice wasn't Sarah's. "Who is this?" she demanded. The voice chuckled, low and menacing. "You brought me here. You opened the door." The call disconnected. The lights in her apartment flickered, then went out. Emma grabbed a flashlight from her drawer, shining it toward the hallway. Shadows danced on the walls, growing darker and more defined. A faint knock echoed from her bedroom. "Stay calm," she whispered to herself. She crept toward the bedroom, her flashlight trembling in her hand. The door was ajar, the faint glow of her laptop screen spilling into the hallway. Inside the room was empty, but her laptop displayed a single message. "You've arrived." The bedroom door slammed shut behind her, and the whispers began. Low at first, then louder, overlapping into a cacophony of voices. Emma screamed, pounding on the door, but it wouldn't budge. The shadows on the walls shifted, forming figures with glowing eyes and gaping mouths. They reached for her, their hands stretching unnaturally. The last thing Emma saw was the hallway from the video feed, stretching endlessly before her. Emma's apartment was found empty the next day. Her belongings were untouched, her laptop still open. The screen displayed a single line of text. "The Forgotten Room welcomes you." Liam had always been a thrill seeker. From skydiving to urban exploration, he craved experiences that made his heart race. But his latest obsession wasn't physical. It was digital. Liam was fascinated by the dark web. To him, it was the last frontier of the unknown, a place where rules didn't exist. He'd heard rumors of strange markets and eerie chat rooms, but one thread on a hidden forum stood out. "The collector's auction. Bid if you dare." The post had no replies, no upvotes, nothing to indicate its legitimacy, but it included a link, along with a single sentence. "You don't find the auction, it finds you." Liam was intrigued. Without thinking twice, he clicked the link. The screen turned black, and a countdown appeared in bold red numbers. 0, 2:59, 59. A chill ran down his spine as he realized the auction was 3 hours away. Beneath the countdown was a message: "Prepare to bid wisely. Your life depends on it." Liam laughed nervously. "Just some edgy prank," he muttered, but deep down, he was curious. He set an alarm and decided to wait. 3 hours later, the alarm buzzed. Liam returned to his laptop, the screen now displaying a single button: "Enter auction." With a deep breath, he clicked. The interface was stark and simple, a black background with a live video feed at the top. The feed showed a dimly lit room where a figure stood at a podium. The figure wore a mask, half porcelain, half metallic, and their voice was distorted. "Welcome, bidders," the figure said. "Tonight we offer items of extraordinary value, but beware, each bid comes at a cost." Liam's heart raced as he scanned the list of items up for auction. A second chance at life, your deepest desire, knowledge beyond human comprehension, the face of your greatest fear. The last item sent a shiver down his spine. Beneath the list, a message read, "Only one item per bidder. Payments are non-refundable." The first item, a second chance at life, went up for bidding. The masked figure explained that the winner would receive the ability to undo a single life-altering event. Opening bid, 1 year of your lifespan, the figure announced. Liam watched as bids poured in. Each username was anonymous, replaced with randomized strings of letters and numbers. "Sold for 15 years of lifespan," the figure declared. Liam felt a knot in his stomach. They can't be serious. he whispered. The next item, your deepest desire, went live. Liam's hands trembled as he considered bidding. He wasn't entirely sure what his deepest desire was, but the allure of finding out was tempting. Opening bid, your most cherished memory. The chat erupted with bids. Sold for 3 cherished memories. Liam stared at the screen in disbelief. The winners didn't seem to hesitate. What kind of people would give up pieces of their very being? Then the third item appeared. Knowledge beyond human comprehension. Opening bid, your sanity. Liam shook his head. These people are insane, he muttered. But a part of him was glued to the screen, unable to look away. Finally, the fourth item went up for auction. The face of your greatest fear. The masked figure's tone grew colder. This item reveals the deepest, darkest corners of your soul. Winning comes at a heavy price. Opening bid, your reflection. Liam frowned. What does that even mean? He thought. As the bidding began, a chill filled the room. Liam felt compelled to type. His fingers moved as if on their own, entering a bid. 1 reflection and 1 secret. The chat went silent. The masked figure tilted their head. An unusual bid, the figure said. Accepted. The screen froze. Liam's heart pounded as the text appeared. Congratulations, bidder. Your item will be delivered shortly. What did I just do? He muttered. His laptop powered off by itself. The room grew unnaturally quiet. Then came the knock. 3 sharp raps on the door. Liam hesitated. He lived alone, and no one ever visited this late at night. He approached the door cautiously. Who's there? No response. His hand trembled as he turned the knob. The hallway outside was empty, but on the floor was a small, black box. He brought it inside, placing it on the table. There was no note, no markings, just a box. Slowly, he lifted the lid. Inside was a mirror. The surface shimmered unnaturally, almost like liquid. Liam stared at his reflection. At first it looked normal, but then the reflection began to change. His eyes darkened, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. He stumbled back, knocking the box to the floor. The mirror didn't break. Instead, it rolled upright, leaning against the wall. The reflection moved on its own, stepping out of the frame. Liam froze. It was him, but not him. The reflection had hollow eyes and a jagged smile that didn't belong to any living thing. Who are you? Liam stammered. The reflection tilted its head, mimicking Liam's movements. I'm the face of your fear, it said, its voice a warped echo of his own. Liam turned to run, but the shadowy figure moved faster. It grabbed him, pulling him toward the mirror. No, stop, Liam screamed, struggling against the inhuman strength. The reflection smiled wider, dragging him into the liquid-like surface. The world went dark. The next day, Liam's apartment was eerily silent. His laptop was open on the table, displaying a single message. Thank you for bidding. Your payment has been processed. The mirror remained on the floor, its surface still shimmering. But this time, the reflection was empty. Liam was gone. Alex had always considered himself a skeptic. He didn't believe in ghosts, monsters, or curses. For him, everything had a logical explanation. But when his friend Kevin dared him to explore the dark web, Alex saw it as just another challenge to prove there was nothing to fear. One late night, armed with a VPN and the Tor browser, Alex delved into the dark web. He skipped past marketplaces and conspiracy forums, searching for something truly unique. After hours of scrolling, a link caught his eye. The Watcher's code, Dare to Play. Curiosity piqued. Alex clicked the link. A black screen loaded with a single line of text. Do you agree to be watched? Type YES to continue. Alex laughed. This is ridiculous, he muttered, typing YES. The screen changed, displaying a series of rules. Do not close this window once the game begins. Do not attempt to turn off your computer or disconnect from the internet. Do not look behind you until instructed. At the bottom of the screen, a button blinked. Start game. Alex hesitated, then clicked. The screen turned to static before a live video feed appeared. It showed a dark room with a single chair in the center. A person was seated there, bound and blindfolded. The figure's head was slumped forward, their breathing shallow. A message appeared. Welcome, Player 1. You are now being watched. Alex frowned. What kind of sick joke is this? The screen flickered, and another message appeared. Your task is simple. Keep watching. Do not look away. Do not close this window. The figure on the screen stirred, their head tilted slightly, as if listening for something. Hello? Alex called out, even though he knew they couldn't hear him. The chat box at the bottom of the screen lit up with a new message. Do not speak to them. You are here to watch. Minutes passed, then what felt like hours. Alex's eyes burned from staring at the screen, but he didn't dare look away. The figure in the chair remained motionless, their breathing the only sound filling the silence. Then, the screen flickered again, and a new camera angle appeared. This time, it showed Alex's living room. What the? Alex shot to his feet, spinning around. The room was empty, just as it had been all night. When he turned back to the screen, the figure in the chair was gone. A message appeared. You broke the rule. Now it's your turn. The static returned, and Alex's webcam light blinked on. Is this some kind of prank? He shouted, slamming his laptop shut. But the screen didn't go dark. Instead, it displayed his own reflection, the text overlaying it. Do not look behind you. His pulse thundered in his ears. Slowly, he turned. At first, the room appeared empty. Then he saw it, a shadow moving in the corner, just beyond the reach of the lamplight. Who's there? Alex demanded. The shadow didn't answer. It stretched across the wall, impossibly long and twisting. Alex grabbed his phone and dialed Kevin. The call went straight to voicemail. Panicked, he tried to disconnect his Wi-Fi, but the router wouldn't respond. The screen on his laptop changed again. The camera feed showed his own room, but from a different angle. This time, the shadow was clearly visible, creeping closer. Stop this, Alex shouted, slamming his fists on the desk. The shadow moved behind him. A message appeared on the screen. You have been chosen as the new watcher. Do not resist. The shadow lunged. When Alex woke up, he was sitting in a chair. His wrists were bound, and a blindfold covered his eyes. He tried to scream, but his voice was muffled by a gag. A faint hum of static filled the air. Then he heard it, a distorted voice, cold and emotionless. Welcome, Player 2. You are now being watched. Days later, Kevin received an email. It had no subject, just a link to a dark web page. Out of curiosity, he clicked it. A live video feed loaded. It showed a dark room with a single chair. Alex was sitting there, bound and blindfolded. A message appeared. Do you agree to be watched? Type YES to continue. Jordan was a tech enthusiast with a knack for coding and hacking. For years, he had explored the internet's most obscure corners, reveling in the thrill of discovery. One late night, while browsing a dark web forum, he stumbled upon a thread that intrigued him. Experience true control. Become a marionette. The post was brief, containing only a single link and a cryptic warning. Control is an illusion. Do not enter unless you're ready to give it all up. Jordan smirked. Sounds like another cheap scare tactic, he muttered, clicking the link. The screen went black for a moment before displaying a message. Welcome to the Marionette system. By proceeding, you relinquish your autonomy. Do you agree? YN. With a shrug, Jordan typed Y and hit enter. The screen flickered, and a stream of code filled the display. Lines of text scrolled rapidly, faster than Jordan could read. His webcam light blinked on, catching his attention. Okay, that's weird, he muttered. A new message appeared. Marionette protocol activated. You are now under observation. Before Jordan could react, his mouse began to move on its own. He watched in disbelief as the cursor opened a command prompt and started typing out code. Who's doing this? He demanded, pulling his hands away from the keyboard. The cursor continued to type, executing commands that Jordan didn't recognize. Suddenly, his speakers crackled to life, emitting a distorted, robotic voice. You are no longer in control. Jordan's heart raced. He tried to shut down his computer, but it didn't respond. Even the power button refused to work. Fine, he muttered, grabbing the power cord and yanking it out. The screen didn't go dark. Instead, it displayed a live feed of his room, showing him sitting at his desk. How is that even possible? He whispered, stepping back. The distorted voice spoke again. You agreed to the terms. You belong to the system now. Jordan grabbed his phone, intending to call for help, but the screen displayed the same message as his computer. Observation in progress. He dropped the phone, his hands trembling. The computer screen changed, displaying a grid of video feeds. Each showed a different room, bedrooms, offices, kitchens. In some, people were visible, sitting motionless like mannequins. Their eyes stared blankly ahead, their movements mechanical and unnatural. A red square highlighted one feed. It showed Jordan's apartment. The distorted voice returned. Marionette Protocol Level 1, Synchronization. Jordan felt a sudden, sharp pain in his head, as if invisible strings were pulling at his mind. His body stiffened, his limbs moving against his will. No, he shouted, struggling to regain control. But his arms lifted, his legs stepped forward, all without his consent. He was a puppet. For the next few hours, Jordan became a prisoner in his own body. He moved through his apartment, cleaning, arranging objects, even typing at his computer, all while his consciousness screamed for freedom. The voice echoed in his mind. You are performing well. Continue to obey. Jordan's reflection in the window caught his eye. His face was pale, his eyes distant, almost lifeless. This isn't real, he muttered, his lips barely moving. Then the voice responded, as if hearing his thoughts. Reality is subjective. You chose this path. Jordan's body walked to the window and pulled the blinds shut. He had no control, but his mind raced with thoughts. I need to find a way out, he thought. Days blurred together. Jordan couldn't sleep, couldn't eat unless the system allowed it. His phone and computer displayed constant streams of commands and video feeds of other marionettes. He realized he wasn't alone. There were dozens, maybe hundreds of people like him. Then one day the voice announced a new protocol, Level 2, Integration. The video feed on his screen changed. It displayed a person sitting at a desk, their face obscured by shadows. A message appeared. Synchronize with Marionette ID 1453. Suddenly, Jordan's vision blurred. He felt his consciousness being pulled, stretched. When his vision cleared, he was no longer in his apartment. He was in someone else's body. He looked down at unfamiliar hands, wearing an unfamiliar watch. He tried to speak, but no sound came out. The distorted voice returned. "You are now integrated. Complete your task." Jordan's body moved, this time in an office setting. He typed furiously on a keyboard, writing code he didn't recognize. His heart pounded as he realized he wasn't just a puppet, he was being used. The tasks became darker, hacking bank accounts, sending threatening emails, planting digital traps in systems. Weeks passed, though Jordan couldn't be sure. His mind was unraveling, losing its sense of time and place. Each day, he woke up in a different body, performing a new task, until one day he returned to his own. His apartment was in disarray. The windows were sealed, the mirrors shattered. The screen on his computer displayed one final message: "Congratulations, you are now a controller." "What does that mean?" Jordan asked aloud. The voice answered, "You have earned the right to command others. Select your first marionette." The grid of video feeds returned, showing countless people trapped in their routines. Jordan felt sick. "No," he whispered, "I won't do it." The voice grew colder. Refusal is not an option. Jordan's hand moved to the mouse, selecting a random feed. The screen displayed a young woman sitting at her desk, staring blankly at her computer. "Marionette. ID 2048 selected," the voice said. Jordan's stomach turned as he watched her body stiffen, her eyes losing focus. "Please don't make me do this," he begged. The voice ignored him. "Synchronize." A sharp pain shot through his head as the synchronization began. The last thing Jordan saw was the woman's face, her empty eyes staring into his. Jordan was never seen again, but whispers spread across dark web forums. "The marionette system is real," one user claimed. "You think you're in control, but you're just another puppet." Another post warned, "If you're offered the chance to be a controller, decline. It's not freedom, it's another cage." No one believed them until it was their turn. Mia had always been cautious online. She avoided sketchy websites, ignored suspicious emails, and rarely shared personal information. But when her best friend, Clara, urged her to check out the dark web just for fun, Mia hesitated. "It's not dangerous if you're careful," Clara insisted. "There's this marketplace people talk about. It's supposed to be creepy, but super interesting. We just browse, nothing else." Reluctantly, Mia agreed. One rainy night, they huddled in Clara's bedroom, the dim glow of Clara's laptop illuminating their faces. Clara connected to the dark web and navigated to a site she claimed to have found in a forum. The page was simple, a black background with bold white text that read, "Welcome to the Whispering Marketplace. Your secrets are our currency." Mia frowned. "What does that mean?" Clara shrugged. "Probably just some gimmick." Below the text was a button, "Enter." Clara clicked it. The screen transitioned to a list of categories: favors, truths, unseen services, final offers. Final offers. "That's ominous," Mia muttered. Clara clicked on favors, and the screen displayed an array of strange listings. Erase a debt. 1 secret required. Find a lost object. 2 whispers of truth required. Disappear completely. 5 whispers required. "What's a whisper of truth?" Clara asked aloud. "I don't like this," Mia said, backing away. "Relax, it's just a website." Clara clicked on one of the offers. Erase a debt. A text box appeared. Type your secret to proceed. Clara hesitated. "What if I just make something up?" Mia shook her head. "Clara, don't." Before she could finish, Clara typed, "I cheated on my midterms." The screen flickered, and a new message appeared. Whisper received. Processing request. "What the hell?" Mia said, her voice rising. The screen went black, then displayed a live video feed. It showed an unfamiliar man sitting at a desk, nervously tapping his fingers. "Who is that?" Mia whispered. Clara leaned in. "I don't know." The man's phone buzzed. He picked it up, read something, and his face turned pale. He grabbed a folder from his desk, shredded its contents, and muttered, "It's gone. It's really gone." The feed cut out, replaced by a message. "Debt erased. Transaction complete." Clara stared at the screen, stunned. "Did that actually happen?" Mia was horrified. "Clara, we need to shut this down now." Clara, however, was intrigued. "What if we try something else? Let's see what Truths is about." She clicked on it before Mia could stop her. The listings were even stranger. "Discover a betrayal. 1 whisper required. Reveal someone's hidden fear. 2 whispers required. Uncover a dark past. 3 whispers required." Mia grabbed Clara's arm. "Clara, this isn't a game." But Clara was already typing. This time, she whispered as she wrote, "I stole money from my grandma's purse." The screen flickered again, and a video feed appeared. This time, it was Clara's phone. "What? How?" Clara stammered. On the screen, a text message draft was visible. It was addressed to Clara's boss, accusing her of embezzling money. Before their eyes, the message was sent. Clara's phone buzzed on the desk. She picked it up, her face draining of color, as she read the incoming response. "You're fired. We'll be pursuing legal action." The screen displayed one final message. "The truth cuts both ways. Transaction complete." Panicked, Mia tried to close the browser, but the laptop froze. The screen changed, showing a new message. "Would you like to make a final offer? Yes or no?" "No," Mia shouted, reaching for the power button. But Clara, shaken and desperate, clicked yes. The screen turned black, and a distorted voice emanated from the speakers. "You may offer your life for theirs. Do you agree?" Clara's hands trembled as she typed. "What does that mean?" The voice replied, "One life must end to close the account. Choose wisely." Clara stared at the screen, her breathing shallow. "Mia, I didn't mean for this to happen." Mia backed away. "Don't you dare involve me in this." Before Mia could react, Clara typed, "Take mine." The screen flickered and the voice responded, "Offer accepted." The lights in the room dimmed, and Clara collapsed to the floor, lifeless. Mia screamed, rushing to her friend, but it was too late. The laptop powered off on its own. A week later, Mia received an email from an unknown sender. The subject line read, "Your account remains active. Do not forget the terms." Terrified, she threw her laptop away, but the whispers never stopped. At night, she would hear Clara's voice calling her name, begging her to come back to the marketplace. And one rainy evening, Mia couldn't resist. She logged in again.